Hi Geminis, if you want to come on in, have a seat for mid-month November inspiration. I've made an ink blot here, made in your name and essence. If you want to take a screenshot so you can scry on your own time and terms and see what symbols and shapes stand out from your psyche and psychic senses. I apologize, Geminis, as your last but not least, when I was dropping ink in live time this round, your video got messed up. So we're going to go right into the reveal. So when you're ready, I'm going to close the eyes, releasing the race and the rush, cleansing the palette of the earthly sight, activating the abstract mind and ancient awareness to perceive and receive symbolic support. And when you're ready, Geminis, thank you as always for holding space for me to share my insights. May they inspire, receive or release freely, and like, share, and subscribe. Let's empathically explore. All right, Geminis. I can't help but feeling there is love in the air. There is something in the air that night. It feels like there is this higher emotional, you know how there's like the human mind and then the higher mind, and it feels like there's the earthly emotional body that expresses the emotions, and then there's this higher understanding of your emotions, like almost like ethereal emotions, Gemini, and it lands all up in here, but it has to do with something with love. Now, whether that's love for the self, love with a partner, or a profession, if you're wandering in your career or partnership. And I'm seeing, I want to say it's a crow eye, and it's in the purple nature. I'm not sure how the lighting translates through. So it's like a purple crow, if that makes sense. And there's just this feeling, I'm going to try and best express this, that there is this red vein of deep love. Now, maybe you're harmonizing something that your higher self is like a calling almost, but amongst this calling, now whether it'll be expressed within a career or in a partnership soulmate style, or it's simply cultivating a higher level of self-care and self-love, but it feels as though like it's really coming together. But in answering the call, the first key is uniting the whole self, the heart and the head, the soul and the spirit, all that kind of good stuff. But this purple crow, like a messenger, this call is being heard, like it's not vulture style like in the air, but it's just around. So, and I'm trying to see it in different scopes, because it's like I can see a bunch of different people standing in like a meadow or something like that, and there's different crows flying above them with different messages for each of the Geminis. And it's like there's this crystal grid of sorts that each of you individually carry. And at the same time, because you're Geminis, though it's within everyone, but you carry the duality to unity as one, right? Okay, so thank you. So as this higher love, this higher understanding of love or vibration of love, again, how it'll be moved through, I'm seeing like one of those smoker things. Be mindful if there is like just as a little, if you're in a relationship and you're not entirely sure, that there could be a message like somebody could be blowing smoke up your ass. So just as a, shadow and shine, there's a balance. There's definitely a balance. And then when I come on in down here, I'm seeing like this ornate wrought iron gate. I'm sorry if the lighting is funny. It's very late here and it's just, lighting is odd. Like an ornate wrought iron gate. And almost like tusks of maybe like an elephant, but oh no, these are like is it Horus or Thoth, like Egyptian eyes? Okay, so where I was seeing the tusks is like the entrance to this ornate gate where those Horus eyes are, or like even the pineal gland eyes. And then on top, there is, very kindly, I'll say, what I'm seeing is like a double head, but it has a wingspan. And that's more in like I feel like I'm more in the human attribute or the very dense attribute or simply the shadow aspect, subconscious aspect. Geminis, you guys get it, right? Like you wander there quite organically. So this is where I'm seeing like the devil's head and then this massive wingspan. And they kind of are sitting perched on top of this ornate gate where the two eyes are. So as people step forward to you from this path or that path, right? Like if, let's see if we can do this. From, if I, there we go. That path or this path. It's like things will be weighed out as they present information to you, person, place, or thing, personal, professional, because there's this duality dance, but it's like the Geminis are heeding a call to say that you're not imprisoned by that. There is some sort of understanding and learning in that, how the psyche and psychic senses, esoteric, exoteric, all those kind of good polarities or different themes work in tandem. And the Geminis are being, like, the air about it is answering the call to, it's like seeing the dancers of the light and the dark, the this and the that. And as the two dance, when you watch, like now suddenly I'm in a ballroom and I'm seeing a couple do like this really fancy dance, but they become one. The dance becomes one versus watching two individual dancers, right? Like they might come in and then they become one. And then every so often, one partner might wander over here, but then they come back together and it's coming into this unity. So perhaps if you've been feeling, Geminis, this, duality is some sort of imprisonment or conflict within the self in relation to the frequency of love, maybe even dealing with family, things that you care about. There is some form of justice coming through as you're answering your own call to say, I can heed the duality as a dance of one. And there's just more of a movement air about it. But it's like I can see people entering towards you in this grand mansion. And as they approach you, they will be met with this ornate wrought iron gate. So there's lots of fluidity for the air to come in and out. This is not a big old wooden fence. This is a strong thread. And with these devilish head creatures on top, it is protecting what I'm feeling and sensing, Geminis, is your, if you can see it there, it's really pink, is like your purest. Yeah, just your purest care. And I want to say love, but it's almost like your love when it's turned kindness or it's expressed as a kindness. But there's a little energy entity kind of attached into this kindness part of you, like this really, it's like your sweet side, right? Like you can be sweet or salty, the angel or the devil. And right now, it's like the devilish bird has its claws in this purity, and then there's an entity attached to it as well. But it's almost like it was a trigger to remind you your kindness is not a weakness, but also weigh it out when people approach you. Like there's something exciting about it when people appear to understand you or want to hear your side of things. Excuse me. And just sometimes it feels like you can be taken advantage of in this flip-flop. Again, I say that in the devil and angel kind of feel. And at the same time, Gemini, I want to flip it accordingly, being on the other side of the gate, that you as well, that could be where you've been dealing at right now in making a decision in regards to something. Like, do I want to deal with this with a more salty side or with my sweet side? But something has kind of, it's not dense, so it hasn't quite settled in. And you're like, I don't know if I want that part of me to emerge in this context. There's something about a wisdom of being brought forward really in this justice feel is how I'm feeling it. There's somebody also clapping for you, a spirit of family. As you weigh these things out intelligently and intuitively. Again, not favoring one person of the dance and the other person of the dance, but still seeing it as a whole and taking time to contemplate before making decisions. But I feel like if I wanted to step forward to meet your sweetness, I would have to almost like be greeted by your salty side first. It has a particular strength, but so does your sweetness. It's like your... Okay, thank you. So the crow that we were talking about, the purple crow, yes, the purple crow is, I feel like it's always been more in contact with perhaps the male aspect of the self or the energy, the little devilish side. Maybe it's even a Capricorn you're dealing with, but I feel like I'm seeing the subcon of the Geminis. And now there's this other, so it could be 1 to 2 crows, but now it's also talking to your sweet side. So even through yourself, there's been an evolution instead of favoring one part of your personality or your strength, right? Like maybe even being willing to be a student about something and say, okay, I'm really good at this. And so I'm going to kind of feel like a noob again. And I want to, get my feels out there. I don't know if that makes sense, but there's some sort of grid lining up around the Gemini energies to empower both the strong and the soft. And it's coming from a high vibrational source, from your crown, from that intuitive side. I feel like your intellect is top notch. Okay, from this perspective, if you see anything, please feel free to comment below, share, inspire perspective. It's like a inspirational influence, right? When you can see something and say, oh, I see a frog, and oh, now I see the frog. But if it resonates, to sink in, only you will do that. Okay, so I'm seeing like, I can't remember what this animal is called, and it's ironic because my girlfriend has a car and it's called this. It's not one of the newer cars, I don't think. Anywho, so it's not a deer, but it does have horns, but they kind of glide back. It's not a ram. I think it starts with a G, but I could be very wrong nonetheless. But these are like very graceful horns, like maybe a Giselle, but that's not the name of the car. Okay, I won't stay constipated there. There's a point of it. There's something about doing things with grace, right? And Geminis, you have grace, but sometimes I feel like you can be scary. I don't know why that is. But it could be in this thing when you're, if something's on your back, like a monkey's on your back, and you feel like your sweet side is either misunderstood or taken advantage of. And I'll be honest with you, when I tune into that, that's when I kind of get a little scared. But that flip-flop, like that revolving door, is what is being united. So whatever, if you're resonating with this, that sensation of feeling like you're, sweet and salty, this or that. And yes, we all have that. But Geminis, this is like your forte. And the extremities, to see the spectrum So you can see this in other people as you're interacting with them. It's like building your own spectrum of like your artist palette. So when other people, places, things, opportunities step forward, you can plug them into this spectrum of sweet or salty because you're professionals at duality. And now it's like everything's been lit up. You've had some experiences in many different shades of each side, if I may. And now it's time to light everything up, stand in the center. And as you stand in the center, Geminis, I hope this is making sense, because I kind of feel like I'm seeing a light bright. As you stand in the center, people, places, or things are interacted with, the grid comes out from you versus bouncing. Does that... I apologize if I'm butchering this message, because there's, from that grace feeling, I'm also seeing like a, this is a weird way to say it, but maybe it'll resonate, like a femme fatale frog. Like I feel like I'm watching a cartoon with frogs, and like there's one like Cruella de Vil kind of frog, and da-dun, da-dun, and they're like, there's these big old lashes, and I'm like, ba 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 ba, what, me? No. Do you know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to actually be a feminine organic expression. It's the energy of it, right? There's a complete understanding of one's seductive intentions. And then there is the male aspect with this long mustache. So again, I'm seeing a cartoon, and it's like, ooh, ooh la la. So there's this harmony between the male and the female, but I'm seeing them both as very seducing, but your pure love is attached to it. Your kindness is attached to it. And then there's a monkey on that back. So I want to just kindly say, like, be sure that if you are, putting on your sexies, or you're getting all, handsomed up, that you're getting all salty, and, that your sweetness comes in, or your kindness, your purest intentions are still being communicated. And then I think that there's parts of you that throw out, more of the seductive nature or devilish nature. And it is, all sweet, because you're seeing if this is what they're attracted to. And then that tells you something. But then is that working for you? Is that what you want as well? Do you know what I'm saying, Geminis? It's very interesting. I'm seeing that somebody playing the game Hangman, like back in the day, you would put the word down, and then if they got it wrong, like you would erase or add part of the man that was hung. So I feel like sometimes this could be a little bit of a game when I was dealing with that. Da-da-da-da. You do you. I'm also seeing like a whip, but it feels like a fun one. But I feel like when it does come to that integrity, you're very protective over what you care about, those people that you care about. I almost want to say like the whip thing, like a cowboy style. You will come riding in. If somebody you care about and love, that somebody accepts you and just makes you feel that their loyalty and love is in reciprocity, like you will fight alongside with them. Okay, 8 of submersibles. This is that crystal grid thing I was talking about. But it's something in the emotions. Remember, like way back in the beginning, Geminis, I was talking about that. I should flip it just to see. Yes. The higher emotions. So that's what that feels like you're working through, and you're like going through it really, really quickly because it's all lit up. And there is birds in there too. So I don't know, maybe somebody is seeing a lot of crows. There's that tower. That's what it kind of felt like along the lines. What's on the bottom? Messenger. Yeah, messenger is on the bottom too. Don't worry about if they're upside down. They're always upside down. Something triggered it. The whole kind of devilish creature taking your sweet side away. Maybe you're reeling and healing from somebody that took advantage of that, and that's why this like ornate wrought iron fence of your fence kind of became more ornate, more wise. It's like at first there was like just the one eye, and now you've added another eye. Not the evil eye. This is specifically the Egyptian eye I'm seeing. Still here, Ace of Engines. Yeah, this is that unity. That if somebody ticked you off and took advantage of your kindness, you got some sort of monkey on your back about it. It's like, okay, weighing out the options, contemplation, wisdom of the Gemini, lighting up your light bright grid, and then dismissing it wholly from an intellectual and intuitive nature, from the heart space in the body, or from the heart and the mind to say, I really want this to work, but I'm not feeling like it's working. So thank you. This grid is lighting up. It's lighting up, Geminis. 1, unity. And I do feel like this is more in regards to emotional space, but not just the earth emotions, like ethereal emotions. Maybe you're highly empathic, right? Messenger of submersibles. Yes, there was messenger on the bottom before, messenger's coming out again. Emotional messages. And when people talk to you, they are telling you messages. Along with the crows. Keep an eye out. Spirit sending you messages as they clap and support that moment you're taking. It's like before you go onto the dance floor, you take a moment and then you go and dance. That's what it feels like. 8 of Leviathan's. You've double 8s. You're getting to work on this. You are getting to work on this, Geminis, because you understand now your own grid. I really wish I could like paint that picture of it, because it's so beautiful in my mind. It's almost like a string of Christmas lights, but like one side's more sweet, one side's more salty, or this side is into, you know what I mean? Apply anything in any of the directions, and you are just, any sort of frayed wires, you're fixing, any sort of smoke and mirrors, you are clearing up, even if they're of your own and it's a habit you use, right? You're like, you know what? If I'm being seductive and leading with my devilish side, and then we wake up in the morning, you're like, hey, just, you're being sweet, and they're like, whoa. So and I'm not saying that, it's just an example for me to understand the energy. It's like, if they're attracted to your seductive side, that tells you something, right? It's not a judgment, it just tells you something. And same thing, but then you're also realizing, but you're stepping forward as that. I just feel like there's a mixture happening where you're like, I'm going to dress like this, or present myself, speak a particular way, blink my eyes a particular way, and when they step forward to have a conversation, personal, professional, your words are like super intelligent and full of care, Again, Geminis, I hope I feel like I'm not butchering that, because I feel like you're doing a lot at once, and that's to be celebrated. Then you have the captain of airships. This is getting your thoughts in order. You are literally working in your mind with your thoughts. Yep, there we go. Your Leviathans, your earth, and your submersibles, your emotions. So you're even working well beyond even just duality. It's like layers of duality in context of interactions, quality versus quantity, hearing beyond what people are saying to you, weighing things out before you come to a conclusion. And when you come to that state of oneness and express it, it feels really, really nice. It feels like, yeah, I made a whole self decision. All right, closing out here for the Geminis. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm always so grateful for your abstract awareness and ancient and empathically exploring. Our last final words here for the Gemini collective mid-month of November. Energy healing. This is your grid work that you're doing. All Geminis. This feels individual amongst the collective energy of the Geminis. And like that purple crow, this card is very, very purple. Merlin, magic, almost like the magician feel. You're being very persistent in the layers, in the layers, in the layers. Why? So not only yourself as an individual, but the Gemini collective flows in the prosperity of the whole spectrum of energy. Earthly, emotionally, and ethereally. Like Geminis are, it's like a three-tiered light bright. Three-tiered light bright. Amazing. Okay, Geminis, I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much for your time and attention. And until next month, I will see you in December.